Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I'm bringing you another very nice Type 95 gameplay. And yes, I know it's another Type 95 gameplay, but I think it will fit quite nicely into the discussion that I'm going to be talking about over today's gameplay. But before I get into that, there's just one or two things I want to talk about. Firstly, it's the gameplay. I know it's another more defensive orientated controlling gameplay, but I do have a 50-4 striker gameplay on hard tap, where I go charging around with low kill streaks and just go on a complete wrecking spree. However, I'm saving that gameplay for COD Carnage. So if you don't know, COD Carnage is basically a community channel. It has several thousand subscribers, and they're quite active subscribers too. So I was thinking if I uploaded a video to there, it would help expose this channel a bit more. And a few of you guys suggested it in the comments as well. So thank you for that suggestion. And it's something I'm going to do in the next week or so. I think I'm going to record it sometime next week, because I am back home for Easter this weekend. And that is one more thing I wanted to quickly talk about. I am going to try and take my PS3 home after all. Unfortunately, obviously I won't be able to take my TV home. So it's going to have to be in the front room, and that means if obviously the family's back, I can't just go playing PS3 all the time. So my gameplay time will be a bit limited, but they go to bed fairly early, so I can play until the early morning. And obviously I haven't got any work to do for the first week of Easter, so I'll still be able to get quite a lot of gameplay in for you. So that's that solved. That's all I really wanted to talk about before that. COD Carnage, the fact I can take my PS3 home. Oh, there was one more thing. This weekend is going to be so hectic for me. I am going home tomorrow quite early in the afternoon. I'm in uni all day in the morning. I go home quite early in the afternoon. As soon as we get back up, we're going to go out for a meal, and then after that we're going to a hotel, because on Saturday it's a family wedding, so we're going to have to travel quite far to where obviously the wedding's happening, and we're going to have to stay in the hotel the night. So it's going to be very pushed for me to be able to record a commentary tomorrow. I mean, I really am going to try, and if I get a spare half an hour here or there, I will record it and then upload it when we go for food, but it's going to be pretty tight. But hopefully anyway that happens. But that's about it. What I'm going to talk about now is overpowered guns. Now, a lot of people out there were commenting on my last video saying all of these guns they thought they were overpowered, and you know, a lot of familiar names were popping up, you know, the PP90M1, the ACR, the Type 95, and it actually got me thinking, what makes a gun overpowered? And I had a bit of a sit down and think about this last night and this morning, and for me there are really two things that make a gun overpowered. The first thing is if a gun is exceptional or very good in three categories, and for me the three categories are close quarter combat, medium range combat, and then long range combat. Because for example, you expect a shotgun and an SMG to be very good in close range combat, but you expect them to get progressively worse the further back. So they're usable in medium range combat, and then they're pretty shocking over long range. However, if a gun is very good or exceptional at what it does, and then is very good in another area which it perhaps shouldn't be, that makes a gun overpowered. And for example, I class the PP90M1 in that, because it is an exceptional close range weapon. I mean, especially if you put extended mags and rapid fire on that thing, it turns into a monster up close. But because it's such a high firing weapon, and because it's reasonably accurate, it can be very good over medium range too. And that's a little bit too much in my opinion. You know, it's fine for the PP90M1 to be dominant at close range because it's an SMG, that's what it's supposed to do. But for me, the weapon should drop off the further it gets back. And for me, the PP90M1 doesn't do that. I mean, it's not the best over long range, but at medium range, it's a very devastating force, you know. And obviously at close range, it's dominant. It's arguably the best SMG. So that is a weapon I class as overpowered. The other way I class a weapon as overpowered is if they're very good in every category. Now, a weapon I put in this category is the ACR. Now, the ACR isn't the best at close range. I mean, the MP7, the Striker, you know, the PP90M1, the P90, they're all better at close range. Arguably, the ACR isn't the best at medium and long range either, because you've got the snipers at long range, and then you've got weapons like the Type 95 at medium range. However, the ACR does not have a weakness. If you run into someone at close range, you have a good chance of winning the gunfight regardless of what weapon he has. Same at medium and long range. You know, at long range, the only weapon that's going to beat you is a sniper rifle. And if you're accurate with your ACR, especially if you use it with kick, you're going to win that gunfight 9 times out of 10. And that is another overpowered weapon in my opinion, because you know, when you run any other weapon in the game, you find yourselves in some situations where you're just at a massive disadvantage. I mean, the obvious example is a shotgun in a very open area. I mean, you are so dead unless you can find cover quickly. And that is one thing I wanted to talk about, because, you know, I've explained why I think the ACR and the PP90M1 are two overpowered weapons, but I want to talk briefly about the Type 95 and, unbelievably, the Mark 14, because I had people suggest to me that both of those weapons are overpowered in the comments. Now, let's start with the Type 95. I can understand why people think this weapon is overpowered, because it is an exceptional weapon at medium to long range. But let's actually look at what the weapon is. It's an accurate 3-burst weapon. You know, these weapons are designed to be excellent at medium to long range. You know, at the very, very long ranges, sniper rifles are better, and at short to medium range, there are other much better weapons than the Type 95. I know when it first got released, the game, the Type 95 had very accurate hipfire, but there has been a patch to address that. The hipfire isn't as good anymore. And whilst every now and again, if you are using steady aim, you will get lucky, you can't use the Type 95 in close situations, and that's why, for example, in this gameplay, I use the dual-wield Scorpions as a secondary, because I do not feel confident using the Type 95 in any enclosed area. I mean, even an area like this, it's only when I'm in cover here that I switch to the Type 95 to try and take that guy out. So, for me, the Type 95 isn't an overpowered weapon. Yes, it's very, very good at medium and long range, but it isn't the best at short range. And over very long ranges, the sniper rifles will dominate this weapon all day. So, for me, whilst the Type 95 is a very, very good weapon, it is not overpowered at all. And let's talk about the Mark 14. I had someone suggest in the comments last video that the Mark 14 might be overpowered, and for me, that is just a completely ridiculous suggestion. The Mark 14 is a very, very good weapon at medium to long range. It's accurate, it's powerful, you know, it can be a 2-shot kill if you're accurate with it, so it's an exceptional weapon, but it has the worst hipfire of any weapon that isn't a sniper rifle or an LMG. I mean, the hipfire is abysmal, and because it's a semi-auto weapon, it is all down to how fast you can pull the trigger. I mean, fortunately, I have a decent trigger finger, so I have got lucky with sprays with the Mark 14. But when you bump into someone, you expect to die. When you win that gunfight, you're like, oh, I got so lucky there, I survived that gunfight with the Mark 14. The Mark 14 is in no way overpowered. If you use it correctly, you can be devastating with it. But if people get up close with a shotgun or with a PP90 or in fact any SMG, you are going to die 8 or 9 times out of 10. So for me, that isn't an overpowered weapon. Quickly before the gameplay ends, I just want to talk about a few of the weapons, like the MP7. You know, the MP7 isn't quite as good as the PP90M1, and whilst I think it is bordering on OP, it isn't the best over extreme ranges. It's very, very good at medium range, but at the very closest ranges, weapons like the Striker and the PP90 dominate it. So for me, the MP7 isn't, and the Striker for me isn't overpowered. A shotgun which is useless 80% of the time cannot be overpowered. The only way it could be is if it was a 1-shot kill, and it isn't. It's a 3 or 4-shot kill if you're not very accurate. So for me, the Striker isn't overpowered. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this commentary over some quite interesting gameplay. I'm going to endeavour to get a video up for you tomorrow, but if I don't, I really apologise in advance because I'm very, very busy. But guys, once again, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.